The Nintendo Switch 2 is shaping up to be one of the most anticipated console releases of the past decade. After the casing for the Switch 2 leaked in late 2024, we finally got our first look at its design in the announcement trailer in early 2025. However, despite all of its excitement, we were only shown a 3D render of the console, not the console itself. This left fans speculating and scrutinizing every detail, trying to figure out what the Switch 2 had to bring to the table. Now, after countless viewings of the trailer and the release of the April 2nd Nintendo Direct, we've gathered an impressive amount of info. Today I'm going to be taking a deep dive in everything about the Switch 2, including specs, innovative features, and design, as well as how it compares to the original Switch, and what the future of the Switch line could look like. But before we dive in, let's address one major complaint I keep seeing every time Nintendo releases a new iteration of a console with a similar name. People claim it's just a rehashed version with the last name. Remember when Nintendo released the 3DS and then the new 3DS? Same concept, more powerful, but still with the same name. It's not just a re-envision, it's an evolution of the same console line, so let's keep that in mind. Also, part of the script was written prior to the Switch 2 April 2nd Direct, so if I miss anything addressed in that Direct, I'll try my best to fill in the gaps in the comment section down below. Now let's talk about the design of the Switch 2. It will be noticeably larger than the original Switch, but it's not going to feel significantly bulkier. One of the biggest concerns was how much bigger the Switch 2 would be, but thankfully it seems that Nintendo has opted to keep the console at a similar thickness to the original Switch. This is great because the portability that the Switch is known for isn't compromised. While the original Switch had a 6.2-inch screen, the Switch 2 will feature a 7.9-inch display, making the visuals more immersive and the gameplay more enjoyable. The pixels are doubled compared to the original, which is going to result in a much sharper and cleaner image. Although there was some disappointment over the fact that the Switch 2 will stick with an LCD display instead of an OLED. It's worth noting that LCD technology has come a long way since the original Switch was released. What you're losing with an LCD is true levels of black, but everything else about the display should be visually impressive. Honestly, the Switch OLED didn't boost Nintendo's profits as much as they hoped, so sticking with an LCD makes sense from a cost efficiency standpoint. Even though they are making major compromises, trust me, it won't be a disappointment. One of the standout upgrades here is HDR support. With HDR, you'll be able to experience a significant leap in color depth, contrast, and overall visual quality when playing supported games. As expected, the USB port will still be present, but there's an interesting addition: a second USB-C port on the top of the Switch 2. This means you can charge your device while in tabletop mode or use accessories. More on that later. This makes the Switch 2 even more versatile than it already was. The kickstand on the Switch 2 will be an improvement over the original and the OLED version. Inspired by the OLED version, the new kickstand will feature a more minimalist design, but it will offer a wider range of adjustable angles. This is a feature that will really benefit users who want to play in tabletop mode for long sessions, as it enhances overall stability and usability. Next up, let's talk about the Joy-Cons. The Switch 2 Joy-Cons are set to be a major upgrade. For starters, they'll be noticeably larger than the original, giving them a more sustainable feel. In terms of colors, the Joy-Cons will come in black with salmon and blue accents, giving them a sleeker, more professional look compared to the vibrant and somewhat toy-like color scheme in the past. One of the biggest changes is the magnetic connection in the center of the Joy-Con. This new design ensures a more stable connection between the Joy-Con and the console, addressing the loose rail issue that some users, including myself, complained about with the original model. Additionally, the new optical sensor integrated into the Joy-Con could drastically change the way we interact with the console. What was originally speculated has now been confirmed by Nintendo, that the Joy-Cons will now function like a mouse, offering increased precision. I believe that it could enhance games such as Metroid, Fortnite, or even Overwatch. With all of these upgrades, it's hard not to get excited and start speculating about new features. One possibility that I'm hoping for comes from a concept trailer. While it might be unlikely, it is very possible with the new USB-C port and the Switch 2 snap-on function, there is a very small chance that you could flip the Switch 2 upside down, aligning the center USB-C port on top, and then you can attach accessories. For example, you can put a webcam, or what I'm really hoping for is a second screen. As much as flipping the screen upside down might be a stretch, the webcam accessory is much more feasible. Nintendo has already made a camera designed to sit on a table, which suggests they might be gearing up for this kind of support. More on that in just a second. Nintendo is rolling out with some exciting features on the Switch 2. One of the most talked about features is the C button, which enables Nintendo's built-in game chat system, akin to Discord. This is a game-changing addition for the Switch, as it opens up the options for social interactions. It will support screen sharing, allowing you to watch your front gameplay at what I'm assuming looks like to be about 15 to 20 frames per second. It's a bit choppy, but let's just ignore that for now. Additionally, the chat will allow you to mute yourself and turn on your camera that was specifically made for the Switch 2. And you can even resize your front screen. The ability to interact with your friends while you game is something that fans have been asking for, and Nintendo's stepping up their game in this area. In theory, you can take a USB-C to USB adapter and use any other webcam, but only time will tell. When it comes to the specs, the Switch 2 is going to be an absolute powerhouse. First up, the display. It's going to be a 7.9-inch 1080p display with the capabilities of running 120 frames per second. I don't know if the Switch 2 screen itself has HDR support or if it's only something that's going to be on your TV, but if the handheld version has HDR support, that's going to be a huge game changer. On top of that, when the Switch 2 is docked, it's going to be able to play at a 4K resolution. There's going to be a mic built into the Switch 2 with active noise cancelling technology, ensuring your voice gets through, but all of the sounds around you doesn't. It's going to be running 256 gigs of storage, which is 8 times more than the previous Switch. Here's the downside though. Instead of using your micro SD card from your old Switch, now you gotta use a micro SD express card, which is faster, but it's just annoying that you have to repurchase more upgrades. Because of leaks, we know that the Switch 2 will have a custom NVIDIA graphics card and an upgraded CPU. The RAM is also projected to be 5 times faster than its predecessor, giving an overall boost to system performance, reducing load times, and enhancing game fluidity. As for games that are going to be available as of launch, here's what the Switch 2's lineup looks like. This also includes both games that are going to be launch titles that are brand new to the Switch, games that are going to be releasing about a month or so after, and games that already exist that are getting Switch 2 ports. Mario Kart World is released, Drag X Drive is going to be about a month after, Donkey Kong Bonanza, which is going to be about a month after. GameCube games are going to be added to the Switch Online expansion the day that the Switch releases, and Welcome Tour, which honestly I think this should be a free game, and if it's any more than $5, I think it's a ripoff. Games that are being added are games like Street Fighter, Split Fiction, Hogwarts Legacy, Hitman, Bravely Default, Delta Run, Borderlands 4, Civilization 7, Survival Kids, and Cyberpunk 2077. There's also another exciting development for that is actually involving the Switch 1. Some Switch 1 games are getting their own Switch 2 ports. These are going to be upgraded versions that not just run better, they take full advantage of the Switch 2's technology. Some games that you do have to pay for these upgrades will come with extra bonus features and extra bonus content. Don't worry, if you already own the original Switch version of these games, you don't have to repurchase them. Instead of buying the game all over again, you'll just need to simply purchase an expansion. This expansion will upgrade your copy from a Switch 1 game to a Switch 2 game. I think this is a great way to save your money so that you can have both the most advanced version, but also not need to purchase a brand new copy of that game. The games that are confirmed to have the expansions and more content because of it are Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, Kirby's Forgotten Land, and Mario Party Jamboree. Now the games that are getting these upgrades but aren't getting any expansions when it comes to additional gameplay, but they are free, are ARMS, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, Super Mario Odyssey, Super Mario 3D World, plus Bowser's Fury, Clubhouse Games, Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, Game Builder Garage, Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, Pokemon Scarlet, Pokemon Violet, and Big Brain Academy. For the free games, I think it's just better online capability and the game share option, which I'm not really going to be talking about much now because I feel like that's kind of a waste to talk about. It's kind of like the download and play from the DS. Initially, when I saw the Switch 1 announcement trailer, I was thrilled. It marked the beginning of a brand new era in gaming. It felt fresh, it felt innovative, it felt like something we haven't seen before. Fast forward to the Switch 2 announcement trailer, and I'll admit, there was no excitement for me. For me, it was just Nintendo pretty much saying, yeah, we're working on it, get out of our hair. However, during this April 2nd Nintendo Direct, my excitement skyrocketed. Now I'll admit, the Nintendo Switch 2 had a lot of flaws. Now, we could always look at the bad of the Switch 2 and complain non-stop. But instead, I wanted to make a video about all of the great things about the Switch. Now I'll admit, I did leave a lot of things out, like how the camera is going to cost $50, how the first Mario Kart, if you don't buy it with the Switch 2 itself, is going to cost you $80, and how there's a lot of things about the Switch 2 that are genuinely just overpriced. But instead, I wanted to focus on the positive. Please take your time, look at some more videos, and tell me what you think of the Switch 2. Until the next one, peace.